Highway to Hell by Gabriella Kogan. The heroes crossed the barrier to the underworld. Everything was wrong. It was Friday, and I wasn't at home on the couch. I wasn't relaxing at the dinner table with spicy chicken drumsticks and mashed potatoes. Dad was taking me and Veronica to a piano competition in Augusta the next morning, the first trial for us untested warriors. The trees were naked, shivering in the March wind, and the sky was cold and gray as my soul. My sister was singing Ain't No Sunshine in a Kermit the Frog voice. Sometimes she gets spontaneous sugar rushes with no known cause, which she likes to call photosynthesis. It's times like this I wished I could jump out the window of our Chevy Avalanche pickup. But I dream. The window was too far above the ground. I leaned my head on the window pane in resignation. The car jolted as we crossed the Chattahoochee, and I cracked my skull on the glass. Veronica laughed. "Really?" Dad said. "They still haven't fixed that pothole?" I rubbed my aching forehead and looked out over the wide sparkling water. Wandering through the underworld, the heroes lose their path. We zoomed along the highway blasting We Are the Champions on the stereo. It was already getting dark. My sister and I screeched the lyrics together as the song faded out and then squealed in excitement as we recognized the next one. Another One Bites the Dust. I punched the air, imagining the other pianists reeling backwards from my knockout blows. "Why did Mom put so many Queen songs on this playlist, huh?" said Dad. "Because I'm such a queen. I'm like competition royalty," I said. Dad laughed. Then he looked at the gas meter, and the trip wasn't so funny anymore. "Gabby, you need to stop talking. You distracted me." I scooted forward in my seat and looked out the window, trying to redeem myself by finding another gas station. A highway sign whizzed by over our heads. Augusta, 85 miles. The heroes take the mysterious fork in the road. The minutes ticked by on the digital clock, and the sky turned from gray to black. No stars could puncture the fat storm clouds. The concrete oozed despair. The highway stretched out in front of us, dotted with flickering fluorescent lights, a long winding strip with no way out. I started wondering where all the exits had gotten to. There was no more Freddie Mercury on the stereo. We had run out of songs a long time ago. Veronica only punctuated the tense silence with whines about going to the bathroom. Finally, a dark hole emerged in the tree line, with no signposts or lights. It looked sketchy beyond belief. But if we kept going along the highway, we would have to spend the night on the shoulder of the road, with the cars and the asphalt and the squirrels. No way was I spending the night with squirrels. I glanced back at my sequin dress for tomorrow's performance, which caught the light of the fluorescent street lamps and reflected them over the car's ceiling. And we would miss my competition, my chance for fame and glory. Did we really have a choice? Dad veered off the highway just in time, and we immediately plunged into darkness. The heroes freak out. Dad, Veronica, and I squinted through the windows, 3 city slickers in a strange rural land. We could barely see beyond the Chevy's headlights, but we caught shadows of tree stumps all around. Someone had chopped down the whole forest years before and trucked it out for lumber. There were no cars. There were no trees. There were no lights. There were no houses. And most importantly, no gas. The meter's needle dipped below zero, and my dad took his foot off the pedal. We coasted over hills, through lands deserted by everything good in this world. Every now and then, we passed a church with the white cross on the steeple, but still no houses, no people, no cars, no handy gas stations. Veronica rocked back and forth, her shoulders scrunched forward like an old hag's and her eyes wild. And she kept whispering, "We're all gonna die. We're all gonna die. We're all gonna die. We're all gonna... Just shut up!" Dad shouted, pounding his fist on the dashboard. Veronica inched forward in her seat to get closer to me, and I screamed when her hand brushed my shoulder. The car swerved, and Dad yelled at me and said I almost made him jam his foot on the pedal and waste our last drop of fuel. I murmured something and looked back out the window at the tree stumps. Again, Veronica swayed and muttered behind me, like a contorted, wordy witch prophesying our doom. Why did this have to happen to me? Did I do something wrong? Maybe if I had just practiced piano more. The heroes make an offering to the gods and pray for assistance in their quest. We passed another church, but there was no salvation in sight. Dad asked me for his cell phone. As he dialed, I asked, "Who are you calling?" "The police." Veronica started to cry. "Yes, hello?" said Dad. "We have a slight emergency." The connection gave out and we were alone again, crawling through a dreary, unnatural hellscape in our pickup. Dad rang a second time, and the police said they could send a patrol car if we just knew which county we were in. Dad tried using GPS, but we were so far from civilization that we had no reception. Then we lost the cell connection again. What county were we in? The county where people are lost so long they forget what hope feels like, USA. Veronica chanted, "We're all gonna die! We're all gonna die! We're all gonna die!" with tears dripping down her face. I started crying too. Even the police couldn't help us. Maybe the treeless forest would swallow us whole. The heroes negotiate with the ferryman of the underworld to cross the final barrier. A truck passed in the distance like the Flying Dutchman. We kept coasting, with tree stumps swimming by on either side, and the long, gray, lonely, oppressive road in front. The wind whistled through the trunks, and it sounded like voices gently screaming, like dead tourists warning us from years past. Suddenly, a driveway appeared, and for the first time, it didn't lead to another church. It went past a barbed wire fence to a farmhouse with the distant, dim yellow light shining through the curtains. All three of us got out of the truck, half expecting to be shot or eaten, but we needed the gas. A man stepped out of the farmhouse. Lord knows who he was. Maybe he was another Hannibal Lecter or a Norman Bates, living far from society to prey on lost tourists. Veronica and I ran like the delicate pianists we were, peeking at him from behind the exhaust pipes. He had a big white beard and mud-stained boots and a hunting rifle slung across his back. "Ah, hello, sir. How are you?" Dad said in an unusually high voice. "We just ran out of gas and we took the wrong exit on the highway. If you could just point us to the nearest gas station." The man spat. "Y'all ain't from around here, are ya?" "No, we're just passing through. We're from Atlanta." "Where?" "Atlanta." "Where is that?" "Atlanta, Georgia." "Oh," he said. "You mean Atlanta." "Yes, I'm taking the girls to a competition in Augusta." "Oh, really? Well, isn't that something?" said the man, poking his head around the truck to get a look at me and Veronica. "I'll tell you what, mister. Come with me into the barn and I'll give you enough gas to get you to the next Exxon." They both walked up the driveway, and my sister and I crawled back into the Chevy, hoping Dad would come back. He did. It turned out that city people like us often came through looking for gas stations. The farmer said, "Good luck at your contest, girls." Then Dad stepped on the gas, and I watched in the rearview mirror as we left behind the tractor and the farmhouse and the nice man with the rifle. Maybe he did eat people, just not pianists with their bony fingers. The heroes rejoined the sunlit lands and fulfilled their quest. The next day, I performed Chopin's Scherzo No. 1 in B minor, Opus 20. My sister played Variations in A minor by Kovalevsky. We both got Outstanding Performer and passed to the next round. To celebrate, we had hot chocolate at a little cafe next to the river. We made sure to fill up at a gas station before driving home.